I'd like you to take a look at this video where we can introduce to you our new toilet meter valve from H2O Guard and show you why this is an excellent choice to retrofit your current float valve toilets to a new meter valve technology. Whether you have a hotel, nursing home, multi-family property, condominium, or dormitory. Any property that has multiple toilets that are using float valve technology, switching to a meter valve will do three things for you. One, it'll save you on average 5,000 gallons of water per year per toilet switching to this technology. Two, it is going to reduce your maintenance time in the toilets with our interchangeable parts. And three, it is going to eliminate the possibility of property damage from overflowing or broken toilets. So I'm going to do a demonstration of how the product works, and then we'll come back and look at how these things affect your property. Okay, I'm going to show you how this toilet meter differs from a float valve like you have in your toilets now. First, when I flush, you'll see that we have two chains. This chain activates our meter, so when you flush, this handle gets pulled down, it opens the meter, and water is running through our meter just like with a float valve. There's no electronics, no battery, but the water pressure alone is spinning a system of meters inside the head of this valve that is counting out exactly 1.6 gallons or 3.5 gallons for your older toilets. When it has delivered the right amount of water, it will turn off. So it's a positive on-off switch for your toilet. The handle now can be viewed as an on-off switch for the toilet, like you have an on-off switch for your lights. You only use your lights when you're in the room. Now you're only going to deliver water to your toilet when you're using that toilet. So what that means for you practically, and the way we are able to save so much water, is no longer is it dependent on the level of the water in the tank to shut the water off in a toilet. So this is the product that ends the running toilet. So I'm going to demonstrate to you what would happen when you have a flapper leak. When a flapper leaks and you have a float valve, as the water is leaking out, the valve would continue to put as much water in there as it can, trying to get the level back up to turn it off. As you can see with our valve, what happens is, whether I have a hung flapper or a leaking flapper, all the water that I can lose now is the 2 or 3 gallons that's in that tank, and my water is not going to come back on. So what that means for you is 5,000 gallons of water a year savings by switching from a float valve to a meter valve. The other thing that it means, and this would demonstrate, is if you had an overflowing toilet, a toilet that was jammed up, and you flushed, the only water that you would lose, again, is the 1.6 that I deliver with the meter and the water in that tank, and then it turns off. So that's the end of property damage that you can have from an overflowing toilet because you're mopping up 3 gallons of water, as opposed to with a float valve, it continues to feed water and feed water. So to wrap things up and to show you how this really can impact the bottom line for your property, the three things again are: one is no more property damage from overflowing toilets or from broken tanks. The worst case scenario here is that when you have a completely clogged toilet and it overflows, you're mopping up 2 or 3 gallons of water, as opposed to having a property claim when somebody flushes a toilet and it overflows and they're gone to dinner for the weekend and it runs all over the apartment. Everybody has those horror stories. So it's the end of those problems because, again, our meter turns off after it delivers the 1.6 gallons. The second thing, after the property damage, is you're going to get out of the toilet maintenance business. Every maintenance guy at every property that you talk to will say they are constantly having to hassle with the toilets. With ours, we have two items that really will reduce their time that they have with that. One is, on our flapper, we have this Santoprene washer that when they have a flapper leak, all I have to do is peel off that washer, put a new one back on, flush the toilet to fill it back up, and they're back in business. That signals, again, like I showed earlier, it signals you because when the tank empties because you had the leak, flush, nothing happens down in the bowl, it's time to change that flapper. The second part, besides the interchangeable flapper, is we have this replacement head. Once your meters do wear out, after how many years down the road that is, you don't have to go in and rebuild the whole toilet. You just take out our pin, pop the top off, and you just have a replacement head to put on. Turn off the water at the wall, pull the pin, put the replacement head on, pin back in, flush it to fill back up, and you're back in business. So you're out of that maintenance cycle that you're always having to have with toilets. The third thing is the water savings. The 5,000 gallon of water a year per toilet that we quote is based on a few things. One is we deliver 1.6. Float valves vary wildly on how much they deliver. Two is because we have an adjustable flapper, we only let out 1.6 gallons each time. So we save water in both those areas, but the big one is that flappers leak. Everybody knows that flappers leak. American Water Works study says that 1 out of every 5 toilets is leaking 30 gallons a day through the flapper. So you can see that in your property you have a lot of toilets running a lot of water through that flapper. We're the end of that running toilet, as I already demonstrated earlier, so that 5,000 gallons of water per toilet per year is a significant amount of water savings as well. So that is the 3 reasons why this can really impact your property to switch from a float valve to H2O Guard's meter valve.